Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2. With the Korean Zerg player in the red, we have SHIN. And one of the first professional StarCraft 2 players, and at this rate, maybe one of the last. We have Ryung in the blue. A best-of-3 Terran versus Zerg showdown. Between SHIN's commitment to somewhat questionable strategies and Ryung's commitment to the game itself, I'm just going to ask for your commitment to smashing that like button. And maybe even subscribing. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,442 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. That's a threat or a promise. Either way, and I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Reaper gets in. Zergling's waiting for it at the top of the ramp, but the Reaper very aware of what could await it. And didn't even commit any drones on the low ground. Queen comes out, and the Reaper reluctantly will have to stop being quite so annoying. Until at least it has some friends, and then peer pressure will drive it right back in. The Queens and the Zerglings coming down the ramp, but one of the drones, not quite close enough, lost motivation in life, but now it lost its life, so that kind of solves that problem. Another Reaper coming in a little bit off to the side, but the Zerglings will stand guard at the conspicuous break in the chain link fence that is right exactly where Reapers want to jump in. The Reapers at the front. Queens dodge the grenade, drop down a double creep tumor, and 3 Reapers will be the total. 3 command centers behind. And the Zerglings finally leaves a grenade behind, and now finally shut down. So unable to accomplish one of the main objectives of those early Reapers, which is denying the third base. But still, SHIN has gone for this very delayed. Well, he delayed the gas in general. Is he even mining gas here? He has taken 2 gas geysers, both at the natural, but even at the 4-minute mark, he hasn't even mined a drop of gas. Or a drop packet? Pretty sure they're like packaged. Actually, the drones put like a membrane around them, and then they jam them back into the hatchery and somehow, yada yada, profit. So, not really important. Okay, what is important is that SHIN is so focused on that mineral economy, that sort of ice fisher build from back in the day, which Ryung might recognize. He's been playing since, I believe, 2010. One of the staple names. Him and Maru on a team together. Both of them. Ryung finished his military service a few years ago. I believe he's 34, making him one of our oldest players. Still at the professional level. And while he's not as fast as Clem or as devious as Beyond, he still has, well, at this advanced age that, you know, many of us have enjoyed post-youth for a while. He is one of the smartest Terrans. He's come up with some of these. It feels like, alongside Gumiho, Ryung has kind of broken out of that standard meta and kind of pushes the Overton window on Terran, if you would, a little bit further. Or maybe drags it back towards what it was. It's unclear, because right now he's just doing a very standard Cloak Banshee follow-up. Bunch of Marines just waltzing across the map. Stim is not done. This is just to force out a bit of a stronger response, though I'm not entirely sure they should be straying this far onto the creep. SHIN at 56 drones. A comfortable economy to start, but not obviously a great one. Usually aiming for that 70 or 80 mark as time goes on, but he realized well, this is one of the weirder fights I've seen. Some grenades. No, there's nothing. The delayed Cloak Banshee. You know what you don't expect when there are a bunch of Marines on your doorstep? Is a Banshee in the main. The Roaches, what are we doing? What is this, a tower defense? Are we playing a MOBA? There is creep, but they just kind of both rallied into the center of the map like we're playing Direct Strike. The Banshee did get 5 drone kills, and, well, there's actually only 8 Marines, so there's a non-zero chance he loses combat shield here, which is obviously subpar. But backs off when another Banshee comes up. First Banshee. Oh, the Knitting Needle's not quite enough, but the Home Defense Banshee will be very helpful in that regard. There's still an Overlord hanging out in the main, as they do. Looks like some Marines got a bit distracted by the existential threat of roaches. Ryung has all 5 barracks at the natural. Oh, well, that's one way. When that Overseer pops out all shiny and new, it'll have full HP, which is one of the interesting quirks / features. Is it a bug or is it a feature? With Zerg, it's both. But Overseer escapes. I'm sure it'll be back. Hydralisk Den and Infestation Pit on the way. The Roach Ravager count continuing to grow. 10 more drones. Combat Shield nearly done. No upgrades yet for the Marines, but they hit the stims and may be able to deny the base entirely. Now getting into a bit of an odd position. Stutter steps, picks up, and rebuilds the hatchery immediately. But the Banshees have snuck in behind the mineral line. Gonna get a couple more drone kills. Another Overseer looking to chase him down, and, well, get off my creep! Oh, okay, Brenda. Oh my. And other Banshee, a strong gust of wind away from death as well, so we'll probably be hanging out there for a while unless he accidentally hits the select all army key. Hydralisk in production. Lurker Den on the way. That's it. That's all I had to say about that. Couple more hatcheries. And with the hive, lurkers on the agenda. But is that a second armory or the first one? First armory. So wow, those lurkers coming up quick. Considering neither player even working on 2-2 yet. But SHIN, while he is allergic to adrenal glands, certainly enjoys the value of lurkers and vipers. This is one of the medevacs. Ryung forced to back off. Some of the Marines, well, we'll have to hoof it back home, but another couple medevacs looking to clear the creep on the northern side. The mining DLC part of the map where you have to go through the mineral wall in order to access it, but SHIN has quite the biomass now to combat against the massed bio of Ryung. Lurkers all across the board. Lurker range on the way. Hydralisk speed as well. Everything coming together. No Vipers, no Adrenal Glands, but at this stage, he doesn't even have Zergling speed, so no, Billy. Ah! Wait, what? Is he on hold position? Oh, wow. SHIN! I actually love that. So we put the Lurkers on hold fire, so he didn't reveal them. He didn't. The Lurkers are known. Ryung knows there's Lurkers. But he doesn't know how many. There's no reason to give away your Lurker count and positioning to 2 Marines. Spine crawlers on the way as he puts together the backbone of the defense. Vipers in production. Roaches and Ravagers opening up the map, and as we get towards the 10-minute mark, both players about to max out, but no decisive advantage for either side. Baneling Nest, Zergling speed on the way. We'll see. Did he queue up Adrenal Glands behind it? Of course not. Oh, shit. But Mass Siege Tank is the choice. Transitioning into a heavier mech backup, there is a Ghost Academy and 3 more racks out of the way, so Ryung not neglecting that more standardized late game option. But I do love the addition of so many tanks at this stage, especially against the Roach Ravager Hydra. That's exactly what you're looking for. Cinematically and practically valuable against all of this. Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. Lurker burrow speed. Those Vipers have a lot of energy. Can yank in the tank. Get over here. The Marines just abandoning the tanks. They can't really hold their own. They need something in front, but the Marines are just tearing through absolutely everything. As 2-2 completes, he guns down a bunch of... There's not nearly enough energy for anything else here. And, Jimmy, was that way too loud? Well, I don't... The tanks also in solidarity coming alongside, but get gunned down as well. Or taken down as well. I don't think the Zerg have guns. That wouldn't be fair. Alright, Terrans have a monopoly on that. And we removed infested Terrans. Adrenal glands. The most important upgrade for Zerglings, and Shin got it within 5 minutes of the hive completing. What? Who am I watching? All right, no longer an apprentice, but now the Lord of the Lings. Understanding the value, though he only has +1 melee attack, but you know, one step at a time. And then the second step, +2's on the way. So thankfully, Parasitic Bomb doesn't stack. Unthankfully, he didn't have enough HP on some of those medevacs to escape it. Another double drop coming in, trying to drag the army out of position. Another factory is on the way for Ryung. 7 more drones dead. Shin's still at 81, though, and he's building a dozen more, just to be sure. Chitinous plating is all the way for the Ultralisk. The Ultralisk not on the way yet, but I think he's lining up for that big swing. Thing is, though, there's still plenty of siege tanks, as well as the ghosts on the field. How many ghosts right now? Ryung has 8 of them, 7 siege tanks, 2 liberators, as he's smoothly shifting into a much more mechanically oriented composition. 42 banelings, which is an answer to so many questions in this sort of late game scenario. The tanks are walled in, but kind of... I like this depot the most. This is my favorite. All right, just in case. He's built a secondary lane. Well, one, the tanks can't get out because he didn't open the depot at the front, which is not great. But he's built a secondary lane for the Zerg to have to run by. Well, that drop did not go well. That. Okay. That was about as... Yeah, that did not work. Marines, that's a lot of banelings rolling in, though. Planetary Fortress, Blinding Cloud, but... Oh, come on. Shin. Oh, my God. Oh, it's a disaster. Oh, it's not really a save. All right, Shin was a... Shin. Oh, that's some Shin right there. About 1 baneling short of obliterating the planetary. So now... Well, that was bad. That was really... That was a huge commitment, and he didn't get the planetary. You need to deny the mining. As Zerg, you're not going to be cost-effective. You just need to be effective. He needs to battering ram down. He needs to whack-a-mole those bases, and then leverage that massive financial advantage before he runs out of minerals and gas. All right? It's a race against the clock. It's not. It's more like a marathon, but at the end of the day... Oh my, so many banelings. Yankee and more nuclear missile is in production. As well, of course, a fusion core. Well, Ryung certainly headed towards the late game. Gonna be very happy. So, as Zerg in the late game with this attrition-based style that Shin and most Zergs like to play, you acknowledge that you're going to lose more than the Terran. All right? Pound for pound. You just have way more pounds to throw around, much like your mother. So, with all that Zerg, you can just keep smashing bases, and the Terran ideally never stabilizes and just keeps getting battered down until they run out of locations. And that way you can take more of the map, get more money, and at the very least starve them out. But when you commit dozens of banelings to killing a planetary, and you don't succeed, that significantly undercuts your entire strategy. So, single Nidus on the way. I say single Nidus because nowadays we usually go with more. Nuclear launch detected. Directly on the hatchery. Shin. He has 653 APM, but can he see the red dot? Is the question. That hatchery is dangerously close to death. He gets a few unsuspecting larvae. Not sure larvae are actually capable of suspecting anything. Ah, yes, Thaddeus, the accidental late-game Cyclone. Or we can pretend like he actually wants to go Cyclones now. He's building 3 more factories. How many factories? He's going to have 6 factories. This is a Brood War-style late game. He's going from bio into mech. A lot of the time you'll add in siege tanks, hellbats, But it appears Ryung wants to go straight, like a near pure mech composition with the ghosts, of course, added in, because, of course. Caduceus Reactor is on the way. Blue Flame for Hellions and more likely Hellbats. Another Nidus. He's at the center base over at the 9 o'clock. He's also at the 3 o'clock, so he's got both the morning and the evening covered. Or afternoon. My dew clocks only have 12 hours instead of just 24 hours. I'm sure there's some... Doesn't really make sense in the alien... Anyways, I don't... No time for that. Ghost sneaks into the little... Oh my god, SHIN.
Base is under attack.
Well, you deserve that.
Cool.
The nuke lads! 11 drone kills. SHIN, of course, using the Diva announcer. I assume he has it in Korean, which does sound better, but because we're watching in English, yes, it does matter. It uses the language version of the voice pack, if there are multiple languages that you're localized to. Well, what about Ryung? Let's judge Ryung. The Lurkers come out of the Nidus. Ghosts on the run. Still has some nukes in production. We got 3 more command. Oh my god, that Lurker. Generic. Some players just play tournaments on separate accounts with nothing on them. But SHIN clearly playing on something he's invested into. At least the Diva announcer. He's making his Spire great again as well. And Ryung is making a lot of progress across the map. He's killed the 3rd base of all things. He's denied the top right corner. And he now has most of his side as well. So he's looking quite good on a map where, when we get to the Supreme late game, it becomes a lot more difficult. He launches a nuke and a volley of snipes. They'll never expect that. Oh wait, I take it back. Maybe that was Ryung. Oh my god, he doesn't see it. Another nuke! 14 drones! Did he get any Lurkers with that, or did they get back into the Nidus? I'm not sure now, but the ghosts racking up the kills, and 5 Thors! Ryung playing some Bronze League Heroes Terran. And I'm here for it. Oh, SHIN, though, unleashing the MASS Changeling strategy. He doesn't have that many Overseers right now. Only 6 of them. So, this is a roguelite instead of a roguelike. But, we'll see if that progresses. I mean, having the Overseer is kind of important because if the ghosts ever find you without detection, all of your units will die very quickly. Changeling, you know, that's your Changeling, SHIN. You don't have to act like... Right. Convincing. More scans. So many units on the field. Is there a nuke? There was. Oh, missed it. Only one at a time. Blinding Cloud on the front. Thor's still in splash damage as opposed to single target mode. Nuke lands cinematically. Is there any other way? 7 Infestors on the way. Filling in some of the upgrades, especially the air upgrades is SHIN. But it's still anybody's game at this stage. What a... You know, this has become one of my most favorite games lately. I love how Ryung is like, no, these are the cool and the good units. Siege tanks, Thors, ghosts, and nukes. And sure, okay, some liberators. Like, he's now got 7 orbital commands to launch scans across the board. Knocks out the base. And SHIN, well, he's lost drone. Losing drones is not a huge impact at this stage. But it adds up over time. The nukes softening up bases. Somewhat helpful. There's a entire feudal society of broodlords coming together. Queens and broodlords and overlords. That's all I got, but that's enough. Another scan volley. Oh, embracing the true power of Terran to scan pretty much the entire map until he finds the army. Another nuke. This one. Boop. Using it to zone out so we could siege forward. Gotta be a little dangerously close. The nuke brings the base into critically low range. Another, you know you already have a fusion core, right? Hey, ¿por qué no los dos? He's so excited to go to late game, he's getting a second fusion core. Does he already have all the upgrades? Yeah, he does, besides Yamato cannon. But in case you need a decoy fusion core. I wonder what he meant to build with that. Did he actually forget about his fusion core? Maybe. SHIN is struggling. He has less gas now. Ryung is making so much progress. Like, SHIN has not been able to deal with this at all. That is a devastating Terran army, by the way. Now, the Brood Lords... Oh, wow. That's a lot of Brood Lords. That is 15. I think 13 is the number where it goes from a bunch to a lot. All right? Which is, you know, that's objective fact. Where's my nuke? Fires a missile. Now, Neural Parasite Thors are very good against Thors. Ooh. Well, that one. Yeah, the Brood Lords are raining down as a tide of broodling washes away the Terran army. And all that Ryung built is crumbling. Wow, that was a decisive victory for SHIN there on the field. 4 Thors, and so many years ago, Thors got nerfed. Remember when Thors were like the size of a command center? Not quite the size of a command center, but they were like 30% larger. They went on the same diet plan that Ultras have. And they looked a lot cooler. Well, they didn't look a lot cooler. They still look very cool. But they were even more unwieldy than today. They were the much overburdened Goliath. But now they have the high impact mode, and they're a little bit easier to maneuver. Much to the dismay of the Zergs. Oh, he EMP'd the ghosts! With a ghost! Zerg EMP quite strong, but this nuke is really dangerous. That nuke is gonna land. No, the radius is always surprisingly small. It doesn't even kill all the lurkers there. And doesn't even get to the drones. So we may have had an opportunity. Another planetary will be smashed by the banelings and the broods. But he's actually chasing down the... What? The ghost was yanked it off to the side, but the Viper died mid-abduct. Making it look very weird. Another ghost. Well, same ghost, actually. 13 kills. Another wave of changelings and banelings. And really need some hellbats or something. You know what? At some point. So this helps get in the way a lot between the changelings and broodlings. The Thors are going to have a lot of struggles just moving across the map, which is the main value of the Broodlords, to be honest. He's got +2 flyer attack, which really helps in doing that initial damage. He's got Liberators. He's sieging up. Oh, gets a volley of snipes off, softens up the broods, backing off the banelings. Get in the medevacs, boys. Where's that evac? Well, the overseers weren't quite close enough. Rolls in with the Banes again, but the Hellbats dive in front, picks up some of the ghosts, and so many Thors. He's got 9 Thors and more on the way. The Thors are just pounding through. There's no more banelings. There's a few fungals and or neural parasites. He turns one of the Thors against him. But the rest are obliterating the Broodlords. Oh my! The Broodlords just getting vaporized in the sky. And the Terran army makes its way through. But then SHIN brings out 12 Ultralisks, which, as a great man, Hydra once said, when I'm really far ahead and I want to lose, I build Ultras. Because, as excited as I am for 12 Ultralisks against, this is literally the counter. This is the best case scenario for Ryung. I guess Liberators would be the only way this is a harder counter. But he's down to 3 Broodlords. He has almost no Infestors. SHIN is out of gas, as is Ryung. Okay, neither player has much left in the tank here. But having 8 Thors, 14 Ghosts, as well as 5 Siege Tanks and some Hellbats in the mix, these Ultras Does he have speed? He does have ultra... This is, he needs those infestors. The infestors really tie the room together. Without them, these ultras will die. Shin trying to justify his now 690 APM. Ryung at a much more stately 320. For comparison, Clem usually averages between 450 and 500 in late game TVC. So, Ryung working smarter and not harder is what I'm saying. Oh, he lined this. No! 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 He has the high ground! Don't try it! I mean, it's kind of working. He's again trying to play that... The Thors? There's so many ultras that he just chewed his way through. But Ryung... Okay, no. One more time. I need to relive this. He just... he just goes. Shit! He's insane! He sees... This is like the best concave Ryung could ever dream of. And he just goes for it. I guess the tanks weren't sieged at the start, but he gets a volley of snipes. This is like the Heart of the Swarm cinematic. The Thor's standing their ground, but the Ultras are so numerous, they're just chewing through. The Infestors get obliterated on the backline. That Liberator having a field day. There's literally no anti-air. I think that Liberator picking off the Infestors on the back, Ryung definitely wins that fight. Considering Ryung was down like 20-something supply at the start, I guess he is still down 20 supply. But every single Ultraless, every single Infestor, the rest of the... He's building 5 more Ultras and 9 more Hydras. A single Zergling burrowed. Stopping this. How many orbitals are left? 9? He has 2 fusion cores, 9 orbital commands. Is there a nuke? Yes. Ryung alongside Gumiho. I mentioned this earlier. Just one of my favorite So the reason we don't see him more often is because while he's fun to watch, he just oftentimes struggles to keep up. But when he's able to hold, and while he is playing this sort of Turtle Terran style, he's switching back to Marauders and Marines. Because while these wars have been fought with massive machines and nuclear missiles, the gas is run out. And he just has some... Nothing is cheaper than men with drugs and guns. And hell yeah, brother. And here come the reinforcements. The secondary walls are torn down. The decoy fusion core is deleted. 3 orbitals taken down. Zerglings overrunning another base as Ryung Shin with his last army is running out of minerals and gas across the board. The center base for both sides, the only one that's really mostly untouched. Oh, there's only 600 gas left. All these extraneous... The gas is gone. The minerals almost drained entirely. So, Shin may have done it. Well, there's still a lot of Marines. What are the spellcasters like? Does he have any Vipers? Any Infestors? No, and also no. Orbitals continue flying across the Hydras. This planetary lived the entire time until now. A few hundred minerals left. Not gonna be... Why are there... Where are the orbitals going, Ryung? I think he just clicked on the mini-map with them a while ago, and they've been... He dropped some mules. Shin has had an economically... The Spore Crawlers will take down the orbital. The hair dryer knocks into the extractor. So, there will be one more fight with armies significantly less advanced. 41 Banelings. A chiropractor's office of spots. He spots the Banes. They both know where this is going. Oh my. Oh my. That is 5 Liberators. But are they looking the wrong way? Is that the last Lurker? There are 2 Lurkers left. There's 1 Lurkers left. The Corruptors, though. He added the Corruptors in. He can deal with the Liberators. Thors are still a threat. He's down to 2. 12 kills, 20 kills. Shin is mining still, pretty comfortably. Ryung's working off the dregs. There's still that one lurker. How many ghosts? 6 ghosts. Could still go either way. Army supplies actually favor... Oh my god, that is so much Terran. He has 137 army supply. He can build some more Marines if he wasn't supply blocked. 8 Brood Lords. Still enough orbitals to scan quite regularly. The last mineral patches are being mined out. All that's left are these center bases, and Shin found some more minerals. He's gonna go for it. Brood Lord's going to siege up the last of the 9 o'clock base. +3 flyer attack. Shin just realized he didn't have. Kind of optimistic thinking he's gonna finish that now, but not sure which queen is queued up to deal with all the... How many queens are even left? The last queen! There can only be one! Oh my. The Brood Lords. Thor's picked up. How much anti-air is left? He's building 2 more ghosts, 3 Vikings. There's +2 ship weapons. +3 plating. +3 mech weapons. The only thing he's missing is the ship weapons level 3. Shin, the only thing he's missing are the flyer attack and armor 3. But the Brood Lord count back up to 12. There will be one more fight. Oh, Shin. He has a nuke. The spores are moving up. He's getting into position. Well, that's not going to work out for the ghost, is it? Oh, wait. Run! He was on hold position. Also, now Ryung has all this in sensor tower range. It's getting down to it. The spore crawlers at the front lines. Another queen was produced. Shin is banking money again. Not enough to rebuild the whole army, but enough to at least fill in a few parts. The drones will now try to mine from what should be Ryung's base. Small bioforce. Here come the Banes. Did he ever get concussive shell? He did not. A Raven on the way. That's how desperate things are. He's actually building a Raven. 33 minutes and 33 seconds in. Rains down again. Looking for more shots. Vipers? No. You can't let him on from this, Ryung. The income, he's 39. Not 100. 39 minerals per minute for Ryung. The siege will continue. There are some Vikings. Where are the Corruptors? Oh my god, he turned every single Corruptor into Brood Lords! What have you done? How many times? Those ghosts quite optimistic, but if he snipes... Well, if he kills all the Overseers, his 2 remaining ghosts... 5 Vipers on the way. Meanwhile, he's fighting the Spine Crawlers. Here come the Banelings. Ryung trying to force the issue. Thing is, he cannot rebuild. He has nothing left. Shin may have made it with the war of attrition here. We were talking about it earlier. It looked like he maybe had spent too much. But Ryung just has too little. The Liberators doing huge damage to anything that comes within range, but more Corruptors on the way. The Scorcher coming together. 5, 6. He's using the battery pack Evo Chambers. Oh, I feel like this strategy is heavily underutilized. Evo Chambers have the highest HP to mineral cost ratio of any Zerg building. So therefore, you can get the most Viper energy for the least cost. You don't have to try to half kill your own hatcheries to do it. There's still 1 nuclear missile. And 4 ghosts that could potentially... He needs to use it on those spores. He agrees. The nuke! The spores will have to back off. Or he could just lose the ghost. That's also a possibility. Oh, he's not getting the ghost. Nope, why are you moving 1 spore, bro? Really? Wow. the minimalist response. Kills like 3 spores. The rest move back up. Those Vipers at dangerously close range. He desperately needs an EMP. The Viper yanks it a Thor. And the Vikings, here we go. He's bringing it all in. Here come the Vikings. Trying for more. Anti-armor missile. Yanks him in again. Yanks in a ghost. EMP as he gets completely surrounded by broodlings. And, well, the broodlords are raining down. And Ryung, here we go. This is it. He's going forward. Where's the ground army? Where are the banelings? Looking to back off. The spore crawlers knocking everything out of the sky. The ultras, the banelings underneath. The tanks trying to help, but the broodlords are turning them against their brothers. The ultras, a meat shield to hold the line. The broodlords riding down behind. And it appears SHIN has cleaned the skies, wipes the ground, and takes the game. By that much. 83,000 to 70, over 150,000 resources lost. The overwhelming majority, over 90% of all the resources on the entire map, thrown into the meat grinder. And it ends as the Zerg, with the Ultras, the Zerglings, the Banelings, and the Broodlords overhead, are able to reign supreme. What a game, though. Had a lot of fun with that one. But we're going to game 2. Alcyone. Ryung showing he can hang with even one of the best Zergs in the world. But build order time warp. Something we're testing out. Let me know. Until the first production facilities finish. Instead of skipping to it, we'll just speed to it. Because, as I've mentioned before, while we know like what the builds can be and what the maps are like, it's still important to see the little details. So. Gold base. He goes straight for it. Ryung, what will he do about it? Takes a look around. Overlord. Going for... Oh, SHIN loses his first... He's at 26 out of 20 supply. A bit disastrous. Roach on the way. It's going to be the most obvious early Roach push. If that doesn't make it ineffective. Is that a reactor? Oh, Ryung. Well, if this isn't for Cyclones, he may just die. Because you cannot hold 5 to 10 roaches and a bunch of speedlings with like 4 Hellions. Uh-oh. Ryung kind of going back to a default build here. Oh, this is very bad. Yeah, this is not good at all. This is all around a bad time. Well, at least he sees the roaches. So, bunker's on the way, but there's only a couple Marines. He decided on a Marauder instead, which is probably a more realistic bet. The Hellions are sneaking around, but there are 2 Marines and now 2 Hellions that just popped out on the wrong side. Is gonna try to repair the wall, but I don't think the Ravagers are gonna let that happen for long. Fires off the corrosive biles. The reactor is down. The bunker. Oh my god, that Marine freaking out. The bunker finishes, but He's dead, Jim. Well, Shin takes the 2-0 victory just like that. After that epic, incredible game one, Ryung just kind of forgets to scout. And with no ceremony, Shin just kills him. Which brings us into our very special bonus game. Warcraft 3. I've heard that's pretty good. Versus StarCraft 2. Well, in this case, it's actually Brood War. We have, I haven't actually found any pro games of this yet, but we're going to have to switch things up a little bit. But so we have Warcraft 3 versus StarCraft Evo, the Brood War and SC2 mod. So this next match will be on Fighting Spirit. Let's just, you know what? Let's just load it. So we have to use this observer interface because the normal observer interface does not work. But we have our human player. 5 coins. No.
Ready to work.
I don't know if they all random. I believe this is a free-for-all. Yes, it is a free-for-all. I don't know what... Oh, okay. Let's break it down. So this is the Azeroth Kuprulu Hyper War mod, where Warcraft 3 races and everything here is rebalanced. It doesn't have the same stats as their respective games. But it is the Azeroth Kuprulu Hyper War mod, where Warcraft 3 races are brought in alongside StarCraft Evo, where StarCraft 1 races are brought in to the StarCraft 2 engine. Technically, you could also play with StarCraft 2 as well. It's one of the coolest mods with one of the worst names. I get that the name makes sense, but also it's impossible to search. I had to multiple times like look up Hearthstone videos and stuff, try to figure out what the actual name of the mod was. So I recommend Warcraft 3. I bet there's already like a Warcraft 3. Anyways, we have 5 coins, our human player, working on his Altar of Kings. And please, I know you won't, but please forgive me for my lack of Warcraft 3 knowledge. There's only one Warcraft 3 in this game right now as well. We have our Brood War Protoss Tickler, another Brood War Protoss Sith Ewok, as well as Duang Sina. I hope I'm not saying anything too inappropriate here, besides my lack of knowledge of all these strategies. I guess we have the Warcraft 3. I love the detail of having the Warcraft 3 UI as well. You know, back in the day, they used to make UIs that didn't look like a high schooler's first project trying to design a mobile app, but we can't all be AoE 4. So, 2 footmen out on the field, the peasants constructing the town hall at the second expansion. I believe Vespene gas replaces gold for the Warcraft 3 players. And he's gone with the Mountain King to start, an upgraded Stormbolt. So outlying expansions have creeps. Actually, I think in this case, you also get XP from killing enemy units. The SC2/SC1 players don't get any XP because they don't have heroes. No, battlecruisers do exist. And if you want me to go... Well, we'll see how this goes, but let me know if you want me to find some more advanced games or maybe inspire some myself. The Mountain King is just running into the main. I have no idea how well Siege... Oh, Stormbolt! But he uses it on an SCV instead of the Siege tank. The Footman gunned down by the Marines in the bunker. But Murray Frostbeard over here just slaps the bunker down. Stormbolt's another Marine. Does feel kind of like a waste. Probably should be saving that a siege tank will drive back the dwarves. Arcane Vault on the way. Some fancy items for those heroes. We have Tickler just turtling out. Classic Protoss strategy. Micro so hard I canceled my expansion. Wow. He did, didn't he? Classic Warcraft 3 Pro. You don't want to have upkeep, which doesn't exist in this mod. Just saying. Now, we're in the odd scenario where sometimes in free-for-all, it's best to be the last person to fight. Because, by definition, free-for-all is not so much about who wins, but who's left. The Arcane Vault, the little arrow indicates which hero will be getting the items when you buy them. Nice little quality of life stuff. Vultures with spider mines on the way. Double blacksmith, which I'm sure is a great / terrible build, depending on which one makes me look smart. The Mountain King ranging around, looking for an opportunity. Vulture speed on the way. Does he have singularity charge? I believe he does. And a scout, which is significantly better at SC Evo than its memed upon version in StarCraft 1. I'm not sure how much better, but it has somewhat more capability of actually killing. Oh yes, we also have Warcraft 3's day-night cycle, which I believe is just for vision for everything except the specific heroes or units in Warcraft 3. I'm not sure how much it affects their StarCraft counterparts, but Stormbolt on a Dragoon. The Zealots will fight, but the Footmen start chopping through. Scout is here, and wait, he Stormbolted the Scout, but I don't think he has any anti-air capabilities. Enough Stormbolts might be able to bring it low. Town Portal sends it home, so decides to maybe invent some anti-air, but I think he can get some riflemen in order to do so. Meanwhile, Tickler's expanded, taking a third base. There aren't too many expansion locations here. Everybody gets maybe 3, and then there's the center gold, which is controlled by some pretty intense creeps out there, some trolls, and not just in the comments. Is he actually gonna... He's going for the creeps. Gonna try to get some of that. That's the most reliable way. Despite his kills, the creeps are still. So in 1v1, there's significantly more expansions with creeps. Oh, what's on the ground there? Circlet of Nobility, as well as the Book of the Dead. Pick up your items. If you're not a Warcraft 3 player, I believe you can just A-click and delete them or attack them. Unfortunately, you can't use them. Meanwhile, Siege Tanks versus Vultures. Nighttime has fallen. So I'm trying to see if there's less vision here. And there, it feels like yes, but you know, placebo effect. He walled off his tank. One of us. Well, actually, yeah, one of us. This was submitted as Bronze League Heroes, by the way, but I didn't title it as. Wait, what? He's building 2 Altar of Kings? Mass-produced heroes? Well, that's a very StarCraft mindset. 5 coins. Opting. Oh, he's got some scout towers on the way. Adding another mine. The siege tank count. What do we got for supplies? The Protoss ahead. The humans at the lowest overall. My god, that siege tank just jammed in there. Working on the Terran boosters. For Goliath range. Definitely gonna be a... Oh, yes. Wait, are those cannons? Well, why not? Cannons are fun. Making sure no drops... What? Flying machines? Completed. Do they have an attack? Yes. Against only air? I believe so. Wait. Oh, but some damage against ground. Maybe requires an upgrade. What items do we have? Dust of Appearance, Book of the Dead, Circlet of Nobility on the Mountain King. He's also getting an Archmage. Hasn't done anything. I don't know if he meant to build maybe some more barracks instead. He's building them now. Meanwhile, the flying machines. There's nothing here to defend. The Dragoon's a little off-center. Gonna kill a lot of the probes. Meanwhile, Vulture's on top of the Nexus. Alongside those tanks. The Dragoons just knocking out the flying machines, but here comes the Mountain King alongside his entire division of footmen. He's got the Thunderclap ready, upgraded to level 3, uses a Stormbolt. Is it time to clap him? Meanwhile, though, Archmage on the field. If you're gonna Thunderclap, Oh no, the Blizzard is being used. He's channeling on the backline, but the Dragoons just run him over. And trying to take this base was certainly optimistic. Meanwhile, carriers have arrived. Fighting the Goliaths, heads up. But the scout drawing some fire, and there's just too many interceptors. The humans and the more advanced, arguably humans, being beaten back by the Protoss, north and south. How many resources? So 5 coins has plenty of money, and that's my experience with this mod is you actually get a ton of income. I don't know if it's more or if I'm just really bad at spending it. But 5 coins has 2,500 minerals, 1,600 gas. So clearly need more barracks and whatever the more advanced stuff is, like Sanctum or something, whatever it's called. Actually, I might be able to just click on it. Click on a peasant. Arcane Sanctum and Workshop. Likely needed. He's got a couple workshops, a couple blacksmiths. Definitely could upgrade that some more. The highest supply goes to Tickler, slow and steady, winning the race so far with a 44 average APM, but he's using it wisely. The carriers have arrived, though, in the center. The Zealots leading the charge. Rifleman doing a pretty good job against it. Flying Machine knocked out immediately. Mortar Team as well on the... Oh, wow, that wasn't even close. All right, well, he's out of there. But he may have to pull back to defend against the Terrans. As the Vulture moving forward is just some cannons here to defend. And the humans will be saved by their much more advanced counterparts. Technologically, maybe not magically. As the Terrans to the south will engage into Ewok space. Archmage is back. Burry, the Mountain King, level 3. Has invested now in Bash. Terran's beaten back yet again. And Protoss, both north and south. Oh, don't... Now, of course, they can't see each other. Well, with some exceptions, but they don't know exactly what's happening. There's been nothing. Gonna hit the toss. Go hit the toss or something. It's like, well, the classic free-for-all situation of, well, that guy's way too hard to beat, so I'm just gonna beat the other weak guy. Can't, he has carriers. Looks like Tickler doesn't have carriers, though he's working towards it. That is precisely what... I don't know why I zoomed in, like I would be able to see it better. And now the most important part of any of these games, if you've ever played the arcade, is politics. And by that I mean whining about why people aren't doing exactly what would benefit you. Which, you know, is just politics still. Yes, blame the illegal aliens instead of the humans, of course. It's the Protoss. Okay, the Protoss are taking our bases. They're taking our minerals. Okay. They would be eating our children if they could. Thankfully, they don't have mouths, so that's not a risk. But the emotional damage is devastating. This may just come down to the Protoss fighting with carriers by the end of it, but we'll see. Oh, day is has rolled around again as well as this political theater has ended. Let a bro mine, please. I gotta compliment the hotkeys. Trade agreement. The humans have formed a a non-aggression pact between both humans. Unfortunately, the Archmage died to photon cannons. The negotiations were short. I have 2 bases only. That is true. Can we stop you? That is a much more important question. Oh no, the DTs. The DTs! Bronzebeard, use your dust! I don't know if any of these... I think priests might be detectors? No. Flying machines are detectors and then dust of appearance, but detection is a difficult issue. For those that don't have orbital. Help, Dark Templar! So, he can't scan for you. But of course, that permanent detection that is required. I do prefer the Warcraft 3 version of units only being invisible until they attack. I like that a lot more personally, but it is what it is. That's a lot of carriers. Center will be farm. He's quite literal. Those are farms. Meanwhile, trying to fight. But the humans have been really struggling here. Driven back. Guys, please. The whining phase will continue. Holding up the natural. I think the scout towers have detection. Indeed, they do. Honestly, the riflemen and the mortar teams are doing a lot of damage. He's added the flying machines in. The mortar teams are helping out a lot. And some priests getting involved. But isn't enough to actually save the day. The priests healing through. The dragoons no longer have enough. The DT's trying to get involved, but the mortars at point blank almost enough. But not quite. As the Protoss slice their way through. The arcane towers doing their best. But their best is tickling a single dragoon, so that's not enough. And the DTs maintain their dominance on the field. Oh, well. With two hands tied behind his back, he was fighting that battle. Though the peasants are called to battle. And carriers. Also more carriers. So it is truly a late game multiplayer match. Valkyries are in production. The Brood War Terran as the house tank, and now there's a vulture trapped in there. The supplies for all the Brood War players are 150 to 200. The humans have been completely devastated. The heroes have returned. In my experience, well, actually we gotta commentate this. Okay, stop that. There's so many more interceptors. 144 to 12. Well, so it appears 5 coins will take advantage and Tickler will get gutted by the sheer overwhelming power of these characters. But in my experience, I really like playing Undead because the ability to build workers out of barracks is very, very helpful. With your ghouls. So I hope if I'm gonna look at any more games, we're gonna feature some undead. That's the only faction of Warcraft. Well, once again, I don't really have Warcraft 3 experience. I know that's heresy, but that's the only faction that really felt competitive to me, at least as it was. I don't know if there's been any balance patches. I wouldn't be surprised. The mod makers work way harder than the intern on these things, both in SC Evo as well as other things like the Azeroth Cthulhu Hyper War. But the Valkyries, the Goliaths, have a chance. I don't know how well. The Protoss Civil War may continue. You know, the Terrans may end up coming out on top. There's a chance 5 coins could survive this entire engagement via the power of politics. Tickler will tap out. There's some missile turrets being queued up. Sith Ewok, no! The humans fighting the Terrans! But the mortar teams are actually really good. He backs off. There's still so many, that's so many carriers. He's still busy just gutting the base. But at some point... What? Sith Ewok just gets bored and leaves. Another classic tactic. So now, where are the siege tanks? Oh, there are spider mines as well. Which get gunned down. A couple spider... Well, they're able to take out... Are the humans gonna... For the humans! Well, mostly a diplomatic victory, but a victory nonetheless. 5 coins will be your survivor in this Warcraft 3 versus StarCraft 1 in StarCraft 2 battle. As Azeroth Kaprugal Hyper War is the mod. There's a multiplayer version. Yes, I think the hyphen is important. I'm not 100%. And then StarCraft Evolution Complete as well. So hopefully you enjoyed that bonus game. On top of that, I almost forgot how we started this with that epic Ryung versus SHIN battle. But if you made it this far, it'd be awesome if you smash the like button and subscribe and let me know how you felt about it, as well as checking out more games. But if you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome. Check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But again, liking and subscribing, still free for now. Check out Winter Gaming TV. I actually played some of that mod a couple weeks back, if you're watching this the day it comes out. And maybe we'll play some more. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck, have fun, stay chill.